It begins with a question, simple yet profound. Can humans survive in space? Not for a few hours, not for a week, but for years, for decades. We've left Earth, we've walked on the moon, we've built stations in orbit, and now we dream bigger. Colonies on Mars, cities among the stars, but between the dream and reality lies a harsh truth. Space isn't made for us. Not for our bodies, not for our minds, and not for our DNA. Let's start with something unexpected, silence. Not the kind we experience at night, not even the silence of a forest, but a silence so deep, so absolute, it presses on your thoughts. On Mars, the air is nearly non-existent. Just 1% of Earth's atmosphere, that means sound barely travels. You speak, but your voice feels distant. You walk, but your steps make no echo. Even your breath seems to vanish into the void. Astronauts in Mars simulations report a strange kind of unease. One wrote, "I couldn't hear myself think." Literally, it was like my mind was floating without anchors. In such silence, the brain begins to invent noise. It creates signals to fill the void. Sometimes it starts to break. Our skeletons were built for Earth. Every bone, every joint has evolved under one constant force: gravity. Without it, the system begins to collapse. In microgravity, bones lose density fast, up to 2% per month. Hips, spine, legs all begin to weaken. Even with daily exercise, many astronauts return to Earth with fragile frames. And studies show some bone loss is permanent. Now imagine this on Mars, where gravity is only 1/3 of Earth's. A human body, over months and years, slowly forgetting how to stand. It's not just about walking, it's about surviving injury, carrying weight, staying whole. Space doesn't just confuse the body, it disorients the mind. Without gravity, your brain loses key reference points: upper, down, left, right. These words stop meaning anything. Astronauts often report a condition known as space adaptation syndrome: nausea, headaches, and confusion. But for some, it gets stranger, much stranger. They see lights, flashes, sometimes even stars inside the spacecraft. This isn't just imagination. It's a mix of neurological pressure, fluid shifts in the skull, and optical distortion, a condition called SANS, Spaceflight Associated Neuroocular Syndrome. The longer you stay, the greater the risk. Your mind becomes uncertain, and your vision unreliable. One of the most unsettling discoveries came from a twin experiment. In 2015, astronaut Scott Kelly spent a full year aboard the International Space Station. His identical twin, Mark, remained on Earth. Both were studied before, during, and after the mission. The findings? After just 12 months in space, over 7% of Scott's gene expression had changed. Most of it returned to normal within weeks, but some changes persisted. Space had rewritten his body on a molecular level. Changes appeared in genes related to immune response, bone formation, DNA repair, oxygen metabolism. Space isn't just out there, it gets inside you. It rewrites who you are. If we live in space long enough, will we evolve into something else? Then there's something more visual and more dangerous. Fire. On Earth, fire rises. It flickers, it dances, because hot air rises and cold air sinks. But in space, with no gravity, fire does something else. It forms a perfect sphere, a floating orb of flame. No flicker, no direction, just heat, suspended in midair. In a NASA experiment aboard the ISS, fire behaved unpredictably. Some flames burned longer, others had invisible combustion zones, areas where flames existed but couldn't be seen. On a spaceship or a Mars base, this is terrifying. A fire you can't see. That doesn't spread normally, that doesn't warn you. It's not just a hazard, it's a mystery. We dream of the stars, of red deserts, frozen moons, vast rings and glowing clouds. But if we are to survive there, we must change. Our bodies must adapt. Our minds must resist the silence. Our genes may even transform. Space is not empty. It is full of invisible forces that challenge every part of us. So the real question isn't, can we survive in space? It's this: will we remain human once we do?